because we are streaming.
Well, I mean, we are.
We are, but we aren't. Okay. I see something coming up on Twitch.
Over here.
There we go. All right.
More cable. There we go.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Let me put you in my ears.
There we go. Okay.
I have my dice out.
Oh, good. That's going to be useful. All right. Check. Documents. All right. Nope. Get the music up. There we go. All right. Chat room, let us know if you can see and hear us. Man,
Tommy,
if you
can
can't,
you see
we're
me?
talking to ourselves. So,
Yeah.
going live in 5, 4. What?
No?
I wasn't ready for it. Sorry.
No? Are you ready for
Go
it?
for it. Now I'm ready.
Okay. 5, 4, 3. On this episode of the AIE Podcast,
We have a mini WoW raid wrap up.
Queuing through a winter wonderland.
Happy Life Day, Captain.
Moria makes it legendary.
And it is our final show of the year.
Woo! All that and more coming up right now.
Bringing you the latest news from the AIE gaming community from planet Earth and beyond. This is the AIE Podcast.
Welcome to episode 430 of the podcast celebrating you, the Alia Iacta Est gaming community. The Die has been podcast. I am Tetsemi, and to my left and upstairs is McCullough.
Holiday baking coming soon to the Guild Kitchen if I can ever log out of work.
Yeah. And to my right and 2 states over is Mewcow.
Greetings, guildies. Hopefully everyone has their decorations out and is already wrapping whatever's going on in their lives.
There's
we
no
haven't.
wrapping yet.
No, not yet.
Joy Noel has thrown up in the house, but we have not started wrapping. The presents have started arriving, but it's just a large pile in the closet.
Yeah, it could be the Christmas. It could be the tree.
Yeah,
at this point.
Because
the tree does not go up until later.
Yep. Soon. Very soon. Oh, and Gusty says that cool spaceship looks connected to McCullough's mic, and it's very cute.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. And that's from our Twitch chat. All right. Let's see. For the last show of the year, we have some fun giveaways and lots of news. So let's find out. Are we going to do what we've been going
I think
through?
So.
And then we'll do the news, and then we'll do the giveaways. So
yeah, exactly.
All right. So I don't have a coin flip. Let's just start up here. McCullough, what have you been up to in or out of game?
About 4'10" without my heels. As I alluded to, work is currently hell. Thanks for asking. And will remain hell until God knows when. Besides that, we had Friendsgiving at our house 2 weeks ago, which was lovely. Mia, we missed you. Please show up next year. Last week was pretty much a off week of gaming.
Bless you.
Gaming due to real life and all of that. We had a Star Wars game a week ago.
Yeah,
and today
did.
as well. Yeah, we did. So we are 160 sessions into this campaign, which is pretty impressive. Very consistent group. We play usually about 4 hours a week. And And at the end of the prior session, we had been a few things. We're trying to stop this terrifying group of aliens from getting into our galaxy. We're actually in a different galaxy, a la Ahsoka. We are dealing with Thrawn, but what they worship this dark deity that hundreds, thousands of years ago was separated from his body, and his soul were separated. His body is in stasis. It is being guarded by these things called the Dark Star. All but one of the Dark Star has been destroyed, but we need the Dark Star. If we can use that to destroy a temple, it will stop this whole process. But if not, the aliens want to rejoin this thing's body and soul. So we had a very intense moment. We have a character who is an NPC, who is one of the character's twin brothers. He has gone through a lot recently, was being used by this order. He was our big bad for a while, but he's been redeemed. He went to reach for it, and one of the other characters said, "Nope, that's not happening. I promised our mother I would save you." So she grabbed for it, which was then the end of the game, which was not what the DM planned, I think, exactly, but he knows from us. Never expect for us to do what was planned. So the last week, our friend who plays we play a married couple. We've been going back and forth, like going through the whole round of emotions, because the thing is, you get all this immense power, and it's going to help you destroy this temple that will help destroy this whole process, but it will kill you. So we've been going through the whole motions.
And not only will it kill
during the
you,
week.
but what else will it do? Morality?
Oh no, we didn't know that until today. And then so we started the session. She had basically a battle with her dark self to take control of this thing. And then once she connected with it, you have a morality loss every session. You can use it, but that is also additional morality loss. And this particular character has just dragged her way up from the dark side. She was at 0 morality. She was back up above 70. Now she's down to 60. But it gives really great abilities, like really amazing things. But that is where we are. And next session, most likely, the character who's bound to it, the brother and the wife, are going to have a long conversation about who really should be attached to this thing and what we need to do. So it's been a bit emotional. It was a really rough week with that. And then yesterday we did a little con called Glendale LibCon, which was a lot of fun. It's like a 5-hour show. So we were able to do like $400 in 5 hours, no table fee. So hey, a little something that'll keep our little company going for the rest, until next year. So
Awesome.
that's about it. Oh yeah, and I made duck.
Yes, you did. Yes,
It was
you
delicious.
did. The Guild Kitchen had duck, and it was nummy.
It was real yummy.
Mew, what have you been up to in and out of game?
Let's see. It's getting colder, so that's been fun. That means that all of the trees in the state say, "Hey, let's just start popping our pollen everywhere."
Yeah,
It's cold, because that makes sense. It's a perfectly sensible thing for a tree to do pollination during the winter. But
Sure.
Yup.
sure, why not? Sure. Beyond that, well, we have been enjoying the new library that they built nearby. That was pretty cool. It's like going to a children's museum. That's how crazy.
Oh,
this
beautiful.
library is. It's and it's got library stuff too, of course. But
Yeah.
it like has giant playground outside. You go inside and if you've ever been to a children's museum or a thinkery or whatever they various names they have. They have like little pneumatic tubes to send stuff through, and all kinds of toys to run around with, and pretend to have a grocery store kind of thing. Like it's a pretty big area, and then it has some kids books, but like it's it's just surprising to have like a library that's kind of like drawing people in to do more than just come get the books.
Right.
So it's kind of cool.
Well, and I think that was speaking of the library con, that was kind of the driving force of the library con. It's a free table fee because they just want to get people to the library and go, look at all the cool stuff. So.
Yep. No, that makes sense. But yeah, I mean, that's definitely what they're doing is in like, every day since that we've, gone to visit, the place is always packed.
Great.
So it's it seems to be working. And one of the weirdest things is inside the library they have a coffee cart. So
Ooh.
it's just so weird to see people walking around with like beverages and food around books, and you're like, there's something in your brain going, no, this doesn't mix. Like that's supposed to happen, but yeah, I guess they must have weighed the how things go, but yeah. Yeah, it's I mean, it's a really interesting spot, and but they have 2 outdoor upstairs patios that are outdoors even.
Oh, nice.
So you can just sit out there and kind of enjoy the outside. So it's just they definitely want you to come hang out, and it's next to like there's a farmers market on the Saturdays, and they're building a bunch of parks around it and stuff like that. So it's part of the town is trying to create a boulevard essentially.
Right.
So that there's something interesting for people to go to and not just drive through. They don't want it to be a drive-through city kind of thing.
That sounds wonderful.
Yeah, that's the occasional touching of grass does happen.
Very important. Very important.
Other than that, there's a new season of Fallout 76, which I've been spending a lot of time in. They have, for those that are into such things, they have a new raid. It is, the Enclave themed, if you're familiar with the Enclave.
Mm-hmm.
And they've apparently been up to some stuff, and we stumbled across their little experimental area, so you get to see some fun stuff down there, including a giant robot and a giant snake in a tunnel.
Oh my!
And I don't know if it's a joke or not, but someone says that they found out his name is Butch. So anyone that has played the old Fallouts might get that reference. It's a tunnel snake. So
nice.
But yeah, no, it's they're finally giving some people some quote unquote end game content,
right?
To some really challenging stuff, because you definitely if you overpower your build, then maybe you can solo some of the stuff. Like the first boss you can solo, if you know what you're doing, but like it's not designed for soloing. It's they want you to go in with a group of 4. Although there's been an interesting bug where people have been bringing in groups of 18, 19.
Oh my!
Because they found out if you start your group with people, go in and leave if the leader leaves, and then brings new people into his new group and goes back in, it's his instance. Right. So he can keep bringing people in by leaving, grabbing people coming in, leaving, grabbing people going in, so you can just keep packing it full of people. And,
that sounds like they wanted that exploited. I mean, you just know that's a.
Well, and the thing is like what's it going to hurt? It's people having fun in a raid. So
exactly, it's people doing content with people.
Yes. So that's one of those things that they may not patch it. They may eventually, and because every now and then they can be a little blizzardy and have a fun detected alert, but But so far, like they fixed a lot of stuff with this update. There's a lot of stuff patched, a lot of balancing. There's some good, some bad here and there. They redid a lot of the perks. It's definitely a very it's made things very interesting, and it's not quite the steamroll it used to be. I mean, it's not hard in any way, but it's not just shoot and it's dead. Like it takes a little bit more thought now. Right. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun just jumping in there. Like they're definitely keeping that game alive with the stuff they're putting into it. Other than that, and WoW, my heroic team has gotten to Queen, so we're on the final boss.
Yay!
And we're working on that.
Congrats!
Yeah, it was interesting, and it was one of those things where we kind of hitting our heads against the wall against the bosses before, and then suddenly poof, we just rolled right through them. We're like, oh, okay, well, I guess we figured that out.
Well,
So
are you getting enough of the make this easier tokens?
that does help.
Yeah.
And I wonder if I've already like maxed it out because turned it in this week, and then the question mark disappeared from the guy. So I don't know if maybe
Ah.
there's a max amount you're allowed to upgrade it, but yeah, like I've turned all those in. I've got the best possible heroic gear, and at this point it's just a matter of upgrading them
Right.
with with the tokens and whatnot. Because I don't do any mythic rating, so I can't get the mythic gear.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess we're just at a point now where people are getting used to it. They got the good gear that we're starting to see. The final boss kills. Like we'll see some interesting news about that later.
Yeah,
Spoilers.
I've heard from listening to other podcasts that the queen is basically an inverse Sylvanas. So the hard part's right at the front, and then once you get through the hard part, everything else just kind of flows.
Yes, definitely so, because the first part starts in the big platform, and there's all kinds of stuff going on, all kinds of mechanics that you have to worry about. It's definitely very timing. It's a personal responsibility because there's two things that have to be triggered at the same time, and two people can't do it over and over. Someone else
Right.
has to take their spot
You
next
gotta
time,
rotate
and then another person.
groups in.
Yeah, you have to rotate. Yeah, so it's one of those things where someone that's the is the third in the list may not have as much practice, and then when we finally get to them, we're like panic, and so
Danger, Will
yeah.
Robinson, danger.
Yes. But yeah, apparently once you get past that, then the mechanic is it blows you into the next part of the arena, and then you do that stuff. Apparently, is not that hard, so you just blow through all that, and then you get back to her, and then she's got this final form that you have to deal with, and it doesn't do the same stuff from before. So that's why I think it is. It really is. It starts hard, and then if you can just get past the hard part, then you can probably breeze through the rest.
Yeah. And Gusty says she thinks the guy resets every 2 weeks.
Okay. It could be that I was a little behind on him, and I finally caught up.
Yes.
But
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, no, it's I like their new system. Even though I haven't been getting any, like I can't get any more good drops, I can still improve what I have with the effort that I'm making. So it's not like I'm just endlessly going through this grind and not getting anything useful.
Right.
And even if I wasn't getting the drops I needed, you have the vault to help you out later on. And then even if the vault isn't dropping stuff for you, it drops the little tokens, and then you can upgrade gear by adding slots to it, or you can get the tokens with it. So it seems like they've done a better job. Like they are doing a better job about respecting our time, and I think that's a good thing.
Very cool. Very cool.
But that's probably enough out of me. What about
What
you?
have you been up to, babe?
A lot of Dragon Age. So finished my first playthrough of Veilguard a couple weeks back, and the Hordling has taken over the family copy and is now reached on her first playthrough. They've reached this is the point of no return. So you get to a point where it says, okay, finish up everything you want to do out in the world, because once you do it, world locks, you're in for the final run. And then they've started a second playthrough, different character, different class, different faction. And so have I. So when they're at work, I can, play because they're not on. So, but we kind of flip-flopped. I did a Antivian Crow rogue on my first playthrough as an elf. And then I'm now doing a Dwarf Warrior playthrough this time. She did a Kandari Warrior the first time and is now doing an Elf Mage going through. But she did Lords of Fortune the first time and is now doing the Antivian Crows. So, yeah, it's fun because you get extra quests and extra interactions. So my character is a Shadow Dragon, which is the same as Nev, one of the first companions you get. So they get extra dialogue options back and forth, which is nice. But having fun with that. And then went back, and Dragon Age Keep is still up and running. So you can still use that to set the world state. You can't affect Dragon Age Origins or Dragon Age 2 because the BioWare servers are offline, but you can set your world state for those two games in Dragon Age Keep and then kick off Inquisition loading that world state. So it's like, if here's who you romanced, here's who you killed, here's who you rescued, all those sorts of things. You can make those decisions as Dragon Age Keep and carry them forward in Inquisition. So I've started a new Inquisition playthrough as well. But that's been that. And we did we do our one shot last time in Cthulhu? Yes, we covered our one shot last time in Cthulhu. We picked up our normal game, and it's getting interesting. We toured the Vale Neurosciences building because we're on a basically a publicity tour of come internship for us is what it breaks down to. But while we were there, we had the opportunity to swipe a badge and a password, and we had really bad rolls. We were like, "Do you want to push that?" And we're like, "No."
But we did not. In our defense, we did not take the badge.
No, we were looking at the badge, going, "Could use the badge."
We? That seems like it's a honey trap.
Yeah, it seems like a honeypot because right at the very beginning, we got the the lecture from the security guard, like, you will stay with your guide, you don't deviate, blah, 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 everything. And so we ended up doing what we thought was the right thing, which is, hey, this guy violated his open desk policy and left his password and his badge here. And so the tour guide got to yell at him. But that was our opportunity to deviate from the tour and do stuff. But we made bad rolls on grabbing the password, so the badge might not have helped that much. And then as we got
I don't know, I do have a pretty good sleight of hand.
I know. But then as we got to the end of the first part of the tour, we were supposed to get to talk to the scientists and stuff about what they're doing. The building went on lockdown, and you see all these scientists and people running and stuff like that. And we're like, oh, experiment just went south. And they're like, yeah, we need to, we're having trouble, so we're going to escort you out of the building. And so we went back to the little town that we're in, and that was where we left the adventure.
And something's happening tonight, so we're now trying to figure that out.
Yes. So that's, we'll be picking that. I think we're picking that game up.
We're playing
Wednesday, and then have they said when we're doing our holiday one shot?
Yes. So we're gonna start that on the 18th.
Okay, so I need to roll up a character for that.
Yeah, be Captain America. That'd be fun.
That'd be fun.
I'm just saying, we're in the 1940s.
I know. So, but that's what I've been up to. But it's a lot of Dragon Age because it's now a comfort game that you can just dive into all the lore. And playing through Veilguard the second time, all the references hit differently because now you know the meaning behind them. Whereas before you're like, huh, that's interesting. Now you're like, oh, yeah. So, yep. But that is what I have been up to. But it is the end of the year, and we have a ton of news to go over.
Yeah.
AIE News.
All right, in community news, guys, we have a mandatory fun night schedule where the fun is mandatory, but attendance is not. Please be aware that due to the holidays, schedules may be changing. Check each game Discord for any special schedules. So on Sundays, Destiny 2 at 8:30 p.m. All the times, by the way, are in Eastern unless otherwise said, so I'm not going to keep saying Eastern. Monday, Guild Wars 2 at 9:30 p.m. Monday, STO at 10 p.m. Tuesday, SOTOR at 9 p.m. Wednesday, HFO Mythic and Mayhem and WoW at 8 p.m. Thursday, Board Game Night, the first and third Thursdays of the month, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central. Friday, we have ESO at 9 p.m. Saturday, Lotro at 8:30 p.m. Saturday, Final Fantasy 14 maps at 9:30 p.m. And we wrap it up with the noobs. News on that. In WoW at 11 p.m.
All right. And we wanted to remind you of some of the AIE member podcasts. If you'd like to know where to find them, we'll look here in our notes, or you can listen in. First, we have the New Overlords podcast with Max and Seema. They
We
are
like
at
them.
newoverlords.com. Yep. I was just lurking in their stream just the other day. Working Class Nerds with Marcus and Nick. It is workingclassnerdscom.wordpress.com. We have Boards and Swords with Chris and Philip at boardsandswords.com. And then we have a Dr. Gameology, also known as Dr. Daniel Kaufman at
And his book is out, by the way.
drgameology.com.
Oh, excellent.
Yes, his book
book
is
is
out.
cool.
So, yep.
Alrighty. STO, Fleet Action Report with Greebog and Nicodus. That is on YouTube. Look for at Fleet Action Report. Then we have a Podcast Reborn, a Final Fantasy XIV community podcast with Brandon, aka Old Man Franks, Megan, and Bro. That is at bonusroll.gg. Look for a Podcast Reborn.
And in Nomad's news, in New World, our jovial band of adventurers continues to explore Eternium and progress through the expeditions, the dungeons, with many laughs and even more slaying.
Excellent. All right, in WoW news, Raid Team stuff, Kitty Aggro and Let's Go Skating, aka Slugs. So Let's Go Skating. Oh, they really just wanted that Slugs in there, didn't they?
Yep.
Have defeated all the bosses in heroic Nubarar Palace. Sorry?
Nubarar.
Spider Palace.
Nubarar Palace. Got it, yes. And Kitty Aggro did an achievement run last week for Glory of the Nubarar Raider, which awards the Reigns of the Shadowed Swarmite. During the photo op in Dornagal Guild, highly illogical joined for the fun. And Noob is on break until January 4th, 2024. But Cylindra will be running Noob After Dark. Still family friendly. Is that just because Kenny's not in there, cursing every time she dies? In the Noob raid time slot in the interim.
Right, over in WoW Classic, the guild is created on the Horde side on Dream Scythe. So that is the redone Classic is what this is.
Yes.
It's going well. Lars will try to log in to check numbers, but you want to look for someone. Apparently, they are involved. There's a big burst at start, and it'll probably be quiet, but that's pretty much expected.
Oh, always.
But that is the WoW Classic Fresh Anniversary Edition. There's also the WoW Classic Hardcore 20th Anniversary Edition, which is pretty popular with the streamers. I've seen that on Twitch a lot. They've been jumping into that.
Yeah, they've had
It's
a
amusing
lot
to see
of-
the queuing.
Oh yeah, they've had a lot of close calls in some of the early raids. Like, yeah. So.
But yeah, it's fun times.
All right. And in SOTOR, it's your semi-annual galactic war, and we are locked in a battle this week for the planet of Taurus in total galactic war. So far, they've led by a margin that keeps fluctuating, so no predictions yet. Guildies, both grouped and solo, are contributing this week to our total point score by questing, crafting, dungeons, raids, and PvP. Everything counts. Through passion, we gain strength. Through strength, power. Through power, victory. And through victory, we have our guild name announced on the planet of Taurus every time someone goes there. So obviously they're doing the Imperial side. They did invade on the Republic side as well, but the main focus is on the Imperial side. Next week, Annual Life Day starts, and Tuesday night they will be celebrating their efforts in Total Galactic War, as well as throwing a healthy number of snowballs.
Any snowballs.
And probably hugging Wookiees.
Handle them.
So.
Yes.
Awesome. I had an ESO news. Also, EFO. Wow. ESO MFN is on winter break until January 3rd, 2025, but feel free to group up for the holiday events. Kenny, what? Are you taking the time off in Kenny's absence? I'm sensing a theme here.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm also doing her work time sheet in her absence because we work together.
Yep.
Alrighty, over in Final Fantasy XIV, patch 7.1 has arrived. With it, new story content, PvP has been rebalanced, and there's some endgame raid content. Also, for those that are familiar with Final Fantasy XI, Return to Vanadale, Final Fantasy XI inspired Alliance raid, which contains some of what they're saying is the best mid-core fights the game has ever seen. For those that may not know, the Alliance raids are not quite the end game, like super hard stuff. They're designed for just a big group of people that just zerg something and have chaos and fun while you're doing it, and hopefully beat the boss. It's it depends,
Maybe.
but
there
it's one
are
of those
mechanics you
things
do
where-
have to pay attention to them, but
Yes.
they're not punishing.
Yeah, they're more forgiving. They kind of expect you to be doing lots of rezzing of people that just died because they just got flung somewhere and killed.
Yep.
But, also, treasure maps have gotten a huge expansion of potential loot, including new glamour weapons, hairstyles, faceware, and more. So, as a reminder, come join Final Fantasy XIV Map Nights, 9:30 p.m. Eastern every Saturday to join in on that fun. They're now doing low-level maps in addition, so if you're not level capped, you can still join in. Just message Kelsey here on Discord or in game if you have any questions.
And in STO, Q's Winter Wonderland is in full swing. This year, the grand prize is an Ilios Intel scout ship. The civilian version of the vessel is shown in Star Trek Picard Season 3. This is a quick and nimble science ship with Intel seating. The Obina class starship has been added to the Infinity Lockbox. This is a ship originally featured in Star Trek Lower Decks. This is a Miracle Worker heavy cruiser featuring a robust hull and an extra universal console slot. Fleet Action Report is a video podcast run by AIE personnel on Thursdays at 10 p.m. Eastern. Our show is dedicated to teaching others how to play STO. They feature build videos for both ground and space, show off new ships, explain other aspects of STO. They invite you to ask questions during the show so they can answer them live. AIE classes and or honorous runs for a fleet fun night on Mondays at 10 p.m. Eastern. These events are live streamed so you can join in the fun even if you're not able to join us in-game. These nights are for you. Need help with a mission or build? Want a team of players that know how to run TFOs with? Need help working on your first or 300th build? That's what they are here for.
Awesome. All right. In Guild Wars 2, what? In Guild Wars 2 news, Winter's Day, the Guild Wars 2 Winter seasonal event starts this year on Thursday the 10th at noon Pacific time and will run for the usual 3 weeks. This is the Karma focused event, so if you're running low, it can help top you up.
We just got some other content beforehand, so lots to do in there.
Yeah.
In Lord of the Rings, Moira has opened up on the Angmar and Mordor servers. That means you can now get legendaries on those servers, and more importantly, skirmishes are now available. December sales have started with some great deals for this week. Lastly, travel to Frost Bluff is opening this week with the Yuletide Festival arriving on the 12th.
Awesome. All right, and now on to the fun stuff, or even more fun stuff. So, if you are in the AIE podcast channel in the AIE Discord, please type. We're gonna do mounts. So please type the word mount into the AIE podcast channel, and just in case we don't get enough responses, we will save the mounts for next year. Maybe we'll have a celebratory New Year's podcast with mounts. So
Yes.
all right. But while we wait for people to respond in the channel, what was your favorite moment in the gaming year? Let's start with Mew.
Ask me first.
Yes.
Gaming. I mean, it's still fresh in mind, but I think the most fun I've had in gaming is when we did the Great Wolf Lodge physical gaming.
That's awesome.
It was just one of those things that was just kind of cool. Like, you could either focus on it or do it while you're running around. It was just, it was a clever thing that I wouldn't have even thought of. Like, you wouldn't have thought about all this stuff that they have tucked out all over the place. It's just, some interesting pictures and some little trinkets here and there and just decorations. You'd think, oh yeah, it's just part of the experience. It's like, no, if you have a little magic wand, poof, lights up, does stuff. Like, there's quests to run and, there's fights to do. And it was kind of a neat little extra thing. But yeah, that was probably the most memorable gaming moment I can think of right now.
Very cool.
Awesome. And we have one person in for a mount. All right. What about you, McCullough?
God, probably that final session of our Down Darker Trails campaign.
Yeah, that was quite the miracle.
So it really was one of those where it started out like we had some really botched rolls. Things weren't going as well as we wanted them to be. The final scenario was we were dealing with a vampire lord who was trying to summon a dark god, literally, Nocturne. And we got to them while they were in the middle of the summoning. We were able to cut off the ritual, which killed most of the cultists doing it. We took out the vampire lord. It was a bit of a battle.
Mm-hmm.
But then
we got really good rolls.
We got some good rolls. We had some really good rolls. And we had a situation where my character, who was the occultist, we had stolen a book of spells. Now, casting magic in Call of Cthulhu is very difficult.
Mm-hmm.
It has a huge cost. So we had 5 spells in that book, and I think I surprised, and some of them sounded really powerful, but one of them was light. And I'm like, and that's the one I'm going for. And he was like, well, that's not quite what he expected. Like, no, that's what I'm going for. We're fighting something called Nocturnus.
Yeah. You're fighting the night.
The night.
We don't have magic missile.
Right, yes. So now with the system, you have magic points. The higher your magic points are, the higher your power is, which is your willpower, the more you can cast. But after you run out of magic points, it then becomes hit points.
Mm-hmm.
So early in the battle, Cam's character, who's our preacher, got taken over by the vampire lord, who then proceeded to shoot me in the back,
Mm-hmm.
getting a critical success. So I was down to 1 hit point,
Mm-hmm.
because I burned 30 hit point or 30 luck to get down to 1 hit point, which is called the Dirty 30 Club. Second time I'd been there. And our friend James's character, our doctor, did first aid, which gave me 2 hit points. So I'm still sitting there almost dead. And I had to cast the spell every round. And it's having a huge effect, just an absolutely huge effect. And we get to the final round, and it's 5 magic points to cast. I have 4 magic points left. So I go to that very last hit point. Cam's working away at it, trying to get this thing down. And our friend Talia, who is BS crazy, she had been hoarding luck the entire adventure. Finally starts using it. She is literally down to 4 sanity. She is nuts.
Yeah.
She gets a decent shot in. I believe it fought back.
Yeah.
It fought back, but she had enough luck left to take that down to an extreme shot, which ended up killing it.
Yeah.
She had exactly enough luck left.
Yeah. It was just
So
like
it
the
literally
perfect scenario.
It was, yeah. I ended it at 1 hit point. I don't remember what you were at. She was
Very
at
low.
0. Yeah, she was at 0 luck and 4 sanity points. Our doctor was barely holding it. It was just like everybody had a part to play, but it was, yeah, that was a really intense moment.
Very cool.
What are you, baby?
I think my favorite one, just mainly because it was the most recent. So we did our one shot for Halloween, and I made a character themed off of Jason Mendoza from A Good Place. And so my whole goal for the session, besides having fun and, and supporting everyone else, was I just wanted one opportunity for someone to say, Mason figured it out. That's a new low. And
Yep.
it happened. It was a library use. Everyone else who had much higher library use, like, failed miserably. And I got a 10 on my needing to get 10 or under on my library use. So I was able to figure out what we needed for that session. So I think that was my favorite.
Yeah, because you were dying for someone to say that, and I gotta say, because I knew what you were going with.
Yes. So, yep. I think that was my favorite. So, yeah.
Awesome.
All right. Well, it looks like Zorosis is the only one in the channel for today that has put the mount into the channel. So we are going to award them the mount, one of the mounts,
Yay!
and then we'll save the other two for our New Year's show. Or our show
Excellent.
in the New Year's.
In the New Year. We're not
doing a New Year's.
podcasting on New Year's.
No. All right. So, Zorosis, I will message you shortly with the code for that. And if you have any questions, just let me know. But I think that is going to be our show for tonight. While the chat room begins suggesting show titles, we want to thank you all for a great 2024 in gaming and in guild. Y'all have been wonderful.
Yes. All right. And folks, if you have questions or comments for our show, or if you want to come on as a guest and have an idea for our topic, go ahead and email us at podcast@aie-guild.org. You can find us on the AIE Discord and other non-Twitter social media at AIE Podcast. We record live with video every other Sunday, in theory, depending on what's going on. The next show will again be in 2025, but that is at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. You can join the chat room and play along with us on our website, aie-guild.org. Look for the podcast live stream, and look for the link to our Discord server at aie-guild.org. For our past episodes, go on over to YouTube and look for the AIE Podcast. Our theme, of course, was composed by the amazing Andrew Allen. Follow him at Keys with Soul, or visit his website, andrewallenmusic.com.
And if you want to create any segments for us to play at the end, please send it into our email or get a hold of us on Discord.
All right. We will see you in 2025. Good Lord. I'm turning
I know. It's the yeah, right? I remember going 2000. Okay, I remember it turning to 1980. That's a whole different story.
That's a whole different story. But until then, AIE, this is Tetsemi.
This is Makala.
And this is Mewcow.
And this has been the AIE Podcast.
Yay!
Yay! All right. And I think we will come up with our own show titles. Let me just double check Twitch. Nope. All right. I think we are good.
I think everyone's distracted with the holiday time.
Yep, exactly.
Probably.
So, all right, chat room.
And also,
it's
an off week for a podcast, too. So
it is.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep. But Zorosis, I messaged you the code, so let me know if you have any questions. And we'll see y'all in 2025. Bye.
Yes. Bye.
Bye.